Hello, everybody. Welcome. Happy day to you. You are free. You are free. You are free. So, my name is Joan. I am the moderator of the Word and the Word Teachings Facebook page. It's primarily me who posts, and it's me who shares with you on Sunday mornings and sometimes during the week. If you've never listened to one of the talks that I do during the week, they're a little different. I'm a little more, what's the word, silly. And it's really just me dialoguing with you, and it's like this, but it's not. So if you have a chance, just listen to one of them. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. So today we're speaking from the book Beyond the Known Realization, or we're teaching from there, and we're going to talk about the presence of the divine in all we see. Lifting beyond the small self's purview. Lifting beyond the small self's purview and giving yourself over to source. It's that surrender word again. Seems so easy. Yeah. Right. So as we do every Sunday, we start with claim of truth. So I invite you to say the words with me, after me, if you wish. And claim them as your own. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free. I am free. I am free. As you make that claim, just feel it settle in your heart space. I am free. I am free. I am free. I'm in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. Behold, I make all things new. We lift to the upper room when we do this together, so that we can listen and see from our higher self. We can perceive from the higher octave. It's a place that, it's not really a place, but we'll say that it's a place where as you lift yourself there more and more, in my experience, you'll start to feel more clear, and you'll maybe feel like you're releasing, some judgments or some fear or resentment or anger. Just sort of feel it falling away as you spend more time in that space of knowing. So I'm on page 58. If you want to follow along in the book or reference it later, again in Beyond the Known Realization, the last paragraph of the page, where I'm starting. To recreate the world, you must lift beyond the small self's purview. And when we say it's a requirement to think beyond the small self and her small concerns, we are telling you that the future of this expression that you know of as your world is in many ways dependent upon the alignment that can call the new into being. If we look at the news, or however you see the news, get the news, there's a lot of fear. I live in Florida. There's a lot of fear. And we talked last week. Renaming the COVID virus love. And love through the love. If you live in the United States, there may be fear around the election, whether or not school's open or not, or how that looks for your children. Lots unsettled, right? If you look out there. And what can we do? Again, we can lift ourselves to the upper room and perceive it from our higher self. And what will that do for the world? Well, if one less person brings fear to a situation, brings calm to a room by their very presence, as they stay in their own knowing of who and what they are, it begins that way. It can be your work every day. You say, I'm worried through all those I see before me. I'm worried through this pandemic. I'm worried through the election. I'm worried through all the school officials, the public health officials. You could just sit there for 5 minutes or 2 minutes and just whatever shows up for you to word through, you word through that. That's our work, as I see it. We lift what's before us. So the first lesson is everything you see, you are in agreement to. And because you are in agreement to it, it can be transformed through consciousness. If you make something too big, you have limited God. Think about that for a minute. Just listen to those words. If you make something too big, you have limited God. So if you go back to when I first started talking about the pandemic or the election, you're like, you felt maybe that was too big. You're like, well, what is me doing? How am I going to help that? Don't limit God. Don't limit or minimize yourself and the power of being in a space of love and seeing all those before you through the eyes of love. If you make something too big, you have limited God. Do you understand this? That woman will never change is denying the God in that woman. So think about somebody in your life. or a situation that you say, that will never change. She's always been that way. Or for myself, I could even say, it's how I've always done it. We're limiting God. And for myself and that person or that situation, we're claiming it as stagnant, as that is how it's going to be. Instead of perhaps looking at it from a different view, even just to say, I am word through this person or situation I see before me. Word, I am word. Opportunity to say, I'm word through Facebook Live. Word, I am word. I'm word through my knowing that it's all is well. All is well. All right. So just a few more seconds, maybe for people to rejoin. I apologize for that. Something new happening, right? And we can actually use this in what we were talking about, right? I don't remember exactly where I was at, but well, let's just say that this situation happened, and well, it did happen. And for those of you who know me, you can just imagine. But instead of going into a place of fear or into anger or, oh my God, which I actually did for like I don't know, it was really not fear. It's like, I don't understand what's happening, and let me just keep clicking on things until something works, right? But I didn't go into all those low frequencies, those places where I would take myself from the upper room and be down here again in the low frequencies. I didn't do that. I stayed present to what was going on, and I just rebooted the page. And you could take that as a metaphor for your life, right? So I think we were talking about how we say, I cannot change. That person cannot change. That situation cannot change. So this is actually a perfect example, because I can tell you that the me from, I don't know, a year ago would have not been in a place of acceptance. So we keep doing the work, and we don't always see the tangible. We don't feel like we're seeing any tangible benefits from this. I'm reading the books. I'm saying the claims. I'm still in this situation, but step back from it and look at it, purview it, see it from the upper room. Ask your higher self to show you where you have changed, where you have released the grip you had on some situation, right? So remember what we were talking about. If you make something too big, you're limiting God. And that's really the key to everything I'm going to speak about today, right? So we talked about that woman will never change, is denying the God in the woman. The country will never learn, is denying the potential for the transformation or enlightenment or recreation of what you know of as a country. And it doesn't matter which side of the fence you're on. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican. It does not matter. That's sort of the minutia. And I'm not minimizing any of that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying lift beyond. We don't know why someone is not wearing a mask. We stay in our own knowing of who and what we are. And we put more love, more love, more love out to anyone and everyone. Love is the frequency. Don't go up and hug them unless you know them. Although hugs, they're truly transformative, right? If you decide these things, if you decide that things cannot change, people cannot change, If you decide that, you're confirming the very things you say you don't want. Again, agreeing to them. And we're back to surrendering it. You see it rise up for yourself. You see the person who you don't like, who triggers you, who you think's just bonkers. You see them. And you don't even have to be in the room with them. You could sit and do it as sort of like a meditation. See them in your mind's eye. I am word through the one I see before me. Word, I am word. You could try it as an experiment. A person, a situation, and every day just spend a few moments. 5 would be good. 5 is the numeric for love, so 5 would be good. Just, I'm word through, fill in the blank, word, I am word. I know who they are. I know what they are. I know how they serve. It's recognizing the divinity in them. And the guides say, you don't have to like them, but you do have to see them as divine. You don't have to go to dinner with them, but see them as who they truly are, beyond, beneath all of that. And the situation that we see it beyond what we've placed upon it, right? Our filter, our lenses. We're seeing it from our history in many cases. This is what happened. It's what happened. Does not mean it will happen now, right? The idealization of outcome must be understood now. Well, I'll pray for peace. That's a fine thing to do, but realizing peace is very different than praying for it. And the one who can realize peace is the one who exists in a place where peace is known. Can you maybe feel something lifting as you just hear that? As you take that in for yourself. Realizing peace is very different than praying for it. And the one who can realize peace is the one who exists in a place where peace is known. Nothing can be known as the small self has chosen in a higher way. The divine self, the Christ itself, the true self, is the one who must move things by lifting them. The manifest world is transformed by your alignment to the divine that has come as you in the octave of expression we call the upper room. Each morning we set the intention, we say the claims of truth. I know who I am in truth. I know what I am in truth. I know how I serve in truth. I am free. I am free. I am free. I'm in the upper room. I have come. I have come. I have come. Behold, I make all things new. And if we feel anger, we feel rage, or we feel despair, we feel grief, again, we make the claim for ourselves. Without judging ourselves, we just make the claim. Oh, I see. I know who I am. I know what I am. The true self exists here in the upper room. She is as you now. He is as you now. But the agreement to what you think you are. I am the man who is unhappy. The woman who doesn't have the job. The one who can't fix this or that crisis. Aligns you to the level of manifestation. Hear these words. Aligns you to the level of manifestation where what you don't want has great power over you. That's not what we want, right? We don't want more of that. I don't want more of that. The alignment to the higher, the divine as you must be claimed, must be known. And from this purview, the transformation we speak 2, as manifest is known, and known means realized. Well, I knew that, you may say about something or other, but I knew that means I realized it. And every time something is realized, it is known in truth. Now, the truth we speak to here is not at the small level. There are layers of agreement. Yes, he's a difficult man. Maybe something you say about somebody. And perhaps that is true at the level or structure of personality. But he is a good man. That may be true as well. Right? He can be a difficult man and still be a good man. The difficult man may be a good man. The difficult man may be a good man too, but to realize beyond that is that the man who you see, regardless of what he has done, thinks he is, you would have him be as a small self, is not separate from God. God sees God and all God sees because there is no separation. And in this reclamation of truth, this man is realized or reknown in the high truth that will transform him, your relationship to him, and the world he expresses through. How awesome is that? If each of you who hears these words, listens to the text, or reads them on the page, understands that you are the thing, the object that is made new in your expression for the reclamation of the world, you will stop thinking about your poor self and his poor problems. You will encounter the self that has invested in what she's known, believed to be so, and resurrect the divine that is as you, because she is always present and agreeable and available in the upper classroom wherein you are being taught. Always present in the upper room. The transition that you each undergo as you align at this level is the transformation of the one who is required to give herself over completely to the source of her being in the trust that what happens to her is imperfection, because only God knows what you have come for. Sit with that for a minute and feel what rises up for you. Wait, what? The transition that you each undergo as you align at this level is the transformation of the one who is required to give herself over completely to the source of her being in the trust that what happens to her is imperfection, because only God knows what you have come for. I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. As a species, human beings, not knowing what's going to happen, not feeling like we have a modicum of control. It's like foreign to us, or at least for myself. I'm going to surrender and trust what shows up. I'm not going to plan. I'm not going to plot. You know, I'm someone who has to-do lists. I've had to-do lists for like ever. And I watch myself write in that little book less and less as I surrender. And mostly now it's like reminders, just like, hey, don't forget. And then when I see things on there that maybe have been on there for 6 months or whatever, I'm less triggered by the fact that I haven't done it. I just look at it. Is it mine to do today? No. Okay. And make no mistake, some days I am not that zen. I'm not. You know, I always say, I am journeying with you. I'm journeying with you. I am by no means perfect. I'm no means an expert on this work or anything else. Just learning as we go, doing our best in each moment. I'm going to go a little bit longer today because we had that interruption. So you may say, well, I know what I came for. This is my practice. This is my discipline. This is how I serve. And that is what I say I am. Well, if that's what you want, you may have it. But you are gifting yourself with pittance when there is great wealth and spirit available to you to confer upon everyone you meet. Do you understand this? You are so used to settling for a better day that you disregard the gifts of spirit that are relevant, are present, and are offered to you. If you're willing to release your ideas of what you were, what you are, and what you can be known as. Can you say yes to that? There's no judgment in it. Can you say yes? Are you willing to release your ideas of what you were, what you are, and what you can be known as? Maybe. How many of you said maybe? Yeah. It's easy. Sounds easy. It probably is easy, and yet, you know, we're conditioned from little kids to strive for more, and you know, you barely make it to middle school, and what college are you going to, and what are you going to be when you grow up? And it's always forward thinking. Or beating ourselves up about what happened in the past. And how does that serve us in the present? Right? So let's say I read that again. You're so used to settling for a better day that you disregard the gifts of spirit that are relevant, are present, and are offered to you. If you're willing to release your ideas of what you were, what you are, and what you can be known as. Again, we have to say you're always in manifestation. You're always confirming your world. But as you have come as the Christ itself to be renowned in form, in field, in recognition that the very being of the true self is what calls the new world, the kingdom, the awareness of God in all form, that which has come as you, the gift of being will be recognized and known anew. Period, period, period. So we align ourselves to the upper room. We purview from there. We release the past. We surrender the present. We surrender the future. We turn it all over. Thy will, not mine. And we could take a moment and sit in the place where we're in resistance to that. And ask God, Source, Creator, to help move that. I was talking with some friends of mine. We were talking about frames, ways we see ourselves, wherever we pick that up in our lives, and who will we be without that frame? And sometimes when that question is posed to us, the fear of not knowing what's on the other side of that, the fear of who we would be, is so great that we cling to it. I'm miserable this way, but I know how to be this way. I really want that new job, but I know how to do this job. Surrender it all. That's what they're saying. Surrender it all. And the gifts of the kingdom may be more than you could ever imagine. If you're just willing to release your grip on your past or your present or your future and how you perceive it. And it just can be a small step of willingness. I am willing. I'm willing. Fear rises again. I surrender. And if you do that like 5 days in a row and it's still showing up for you, it does not mean this isn't working. Some stuff we've carried around with us our entire lives. And then some, in some cases, right? And so, while transformation can be instantaneous, sometimes it also takes some time for us to really give it up. So maybe one day you're like this, and then a week later your fist is opened, and you release, and you surrender, and you release, you surrender. Thank you all for sticking with me and through a couple of challenges we had today. As always, I like to end with a claim of truth for you. I invite you to say it with me or after me. I know who you are in truth. I know what you are in truth. I know how you serve in truth. You're free. You're free. You are free. You're beautiful, amazing beings of light. It's my honor and my pleasure to journey with you. The work, Paul Selig, and the guys are Melchizedek. I love you. I see you. I know how. I know who you are. I know how you serve. And you know what? If you're feeling challenged, post on the page. You don't have to say what it is even. Just like, I could use some help. Or message me privately. I could use some help. And I will speak claims of truth with you and for you. Or others on the page will do that. We're a community. Let us work together to lift up the world. So for those of you who are wondering, again, I was in Realization Beyond the Known, pages 58 to basically 61, in the chapter, The Preparation of the New World. Have a super awesome day and a super week. We'll see you soon. Love you.